All right, it looks like we have a full house, so let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on IBM SPSS Statistics updates for the Caribbean. I'd like to just take a few minutes to apologize for the multiple emails around the webinar timing. The daylight savings time change caused some confusion, but I'm glad to see that everyone is here, and we still have a few people joining as well, so that's great. My name is Nabil Nazir. I'm a senior account manager at Newcomp Analytics, and I will be your host and one of your presenters today. We have a great session lined up for you, and we hope that you will find the presentation informative and useful, regardless of whether you are using IBM SPSS Statistics or not at the moment. To start off, I would like to just cover a few housekeeping topics. Today's webinar is being recorded. We will be able to share a link with you to the recording as well as the presentation slides after the event is complete. We welcome you to revisit the content yourself and share it with your colleagues. We also invite your comments and questions. So please look at the questions chat box within the control panel on your screen. If you think of a question for us at any point in time, just type it in the questions box and I will either address it at the end of the presentation or throughout the presentation. For those who are just joining us, welcome to today's webinar. My co-presenter today is Lee Cratchley, who is a data science and technical team leader from IBM Canada with deep experience in the IBM SPSS Statistics portfolio. Before getting into our webinar topic today, I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce Newcomp Analytics. We are a dedicated analytics practice with over hundreds of successful project implementations and satisfied clients across Canada, the United States, and the Caribbean. We hold strategic partnerships with key technology vendors, and we are an IBM Platinum Business Partner, certified in data science, business analytics, hybrid data management, unified governance, and integrations. We have offices across Canada, including Toronto and Calgary. In the US, we are located in Reedley, California, and in the Caribbean, we are based out of the Bahamas. We bring data, analytics, blueprints, models, and experience from over 15 industries across Canada, the US, and the Caribbean, including the public sector, banking, retail, manufacturing, CPG, insurance, telco, oil and gas, education, and more. We have an impressive team of certified developers, consultants, and senior professionals with multiple years of experience within the data and analytics and AI space, and always adding value to our clients' businesses. We focus on what we call the 5 pillars of analytics, and those include BI and data visualization, where we build solutions for our clients for reporting and analytics. Financial planning and analytics, which is targeted at the Office of Finance for budgeting, planning, and forecasting. AI and machine learning, which is where IBM SPSS falls under. Data management and governance, where we support our clients with building structures and processes to store, manage, govern, and ensure the quality of data assets. And finally, open source analytics, where we use solutions like R and Python for data science. We have deep expertise and experience in those 5 areas. We do offer a wide variety of services, and that includes advisory, professional development, training, and mentoring. We are one of IBM's leading providers of training for data and analytics in North America and the Caribbean. We also offer analytics roadmaps, manage analytics services, where we take care of your entire analytics environment and changing needs. And finally, IBM software licensing and renewals. We are an approved and authorized reseller of IBM software in the Caribbean. Our service models are flexible to fit your organization. We have a hybrid project approach, so the typical client and consulting team, then this can be managed by you, our client, or by us at Newcomp. We do build proof of concepts for our clients, depending on the different technologies that you're interested in, where you would share some data or a business case with us, and we would prove the idea before you make any significant investments in software. We aim to be your trusted advisor. We teach clients to think like us, allowing them to build and grow their analytics deployment. Our remote engagement model, especially in such challenging times with COVID-19, allows us to have access to our team across North America and the Caribbean, and enables us to provide you with more options and faster responses. We focus a lot on enablement. We help our clients get their new initiatives off the ground, whether it's from a needs assessment or analytics roadmaps, all the way to end-to-end implementation. Our support model is highly flexible. you have the option of selecting prepaid support buckets or also get on-demand support. So that covers our introduction to, to Newcomp Analytics and who we are. Now we will dive right into the topic of today's webinar. Some of you are familiar with IBM SPSS Statistics while others are not. So I will start with an introduction of IBM SPSS Statistics. So organizations have a core need to understand data and then the statistical analysis applied to that data and to quickly accurately analyze and interpret data to drive decision making. In a variety of industries and applications, there is a need to confirm or deny the existence of trends in data. IBM SPSS Statistics is the world's leading software used to solve such business and research problems by means of ad hoc analysis, hypothesis testing, and predictive analytics. Organizations use SPSS Statistics to begin an analytical journey, understand data and analyze trends, forecast and plan to validate assumptions. For more than 40 years, IBM SPSS Statistics has helped organizations of all types to increase revenue, outmaneuver competitors, conduct research, and data-driven decision-making. With more than a dozen fully integrated modules to choose from, it offers rich statistical capabilities paired with features that make it easier to access and manage data, select and perform analysis, and share results. The solution helps users validate or disprove assumptions faster and efficiently using the right statistical capability at the right time. With IBM SPSS Statistics, analysts use a host of analytical power to meet the needs of the most experienced statistician down to the beginner. The products provide the most comprehensive set of tools for the entire analysis lifecycle, customizable with multiple data types and add-on modules to give users what they need. You can access key functions from multiple interfaces, a command syntax, or programmable extensibility for the experienced statistician, and a menu-driven experience for the beginner analyst. IBM has multiple deployment options, from a standalone desktop application ideal for individuals to a multi-client server deployment that is appropriate for larger teams. Some key customer examples of customer success using IBM SPSS Statistics include Influence Health. To help its clients in the healthcare industry maximize return on marketing spend, Influence Health scores existing and potential patients on the likelihood that they will need specific healthcare services, and that increases client revenue and drives higher response rates. Another customer, SPS SRL, which is a market research firm, helps its clients gain competitive advantage by providing advanced statistical analysis and machine learning solutions that help augment the built-in capabilities of IBM SPSS Statistics. The International Medical Corps, also a healthcare organization, uses an IBM Analytics platform, which includes SPSS Statistics, to accelerate its reporting and planning processes, enabling it to deploy emergency responders faster and enhance the effectiveness of its disaster relief services. SPSS Statistics is also being used to fight crime with data by allowing police departments to deploy the right resources to the right place at the right time. Police officers in Charleroi, Belgium, now make better decisions about where to focus their efforts thanks to data-driven dashboards and analytics. Trend analysis, enriched data, and statistical rigor all help to fight crime, boost the quality of service, and ensure the best value for taxpayers. Now, digital marketers must also get a handle on unpredictable online consumer behavior. An organization within the media and entertainment industry, IMM, deployed an IBM Analytics solution that uses SPSS Statistics that extracts insight from multiple sources of data, enabling smarter campaigns that raise click-through and conversion rates and make the best use of clients' marketing dollars. Now that you have an understanding of what is IBM SPSS Statistics and the use cases that it can help address, I'm going to hand the floor over to Lee Cratchley, who's my co-presenter, and he is going to walk you through the changes that IBM has brought into the product since version 23. So Lee, it's all yours. I'm just going to make you the presenter.
Awesome. Thank you, Nabil. And can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. We can see your screen.
Awesome. So one thing we really wanted to talk about today was SPSS 27. Now, we know that a lot of people are on older versions of SPSS. And so what we want to do is just catch you up, give you a quick little brief overview of what has changed in SPSS. And we're going to go back to 23. We can go back further if you like, but I only have so many minutes to give you here. So we started at 23. So in 23, we brought into SPSS Statistics temporal causal modeling. Now, if you've never looked at temporal causal modeling, it's a great way to see how something affects something else. And I know we've been using a lot of this sort of modeling technique, even looking at things like COVID. Is it a certain area that causes something more? It really helps us forecast what's happening in the world, but a great methodology to be able to use. Also looking at geospatial analytics. So again, something we've done a lot with COVID outbreaks, but looking at what's happening in a certain area, how that changes over time, and what's happening. But geospatial is really a huge benefit to look at, you know, crime, poverty, disease outbreaks, there's weather, so many things that we can look at. So we brought in the spatiotemporal predictions as well as generalized spatial association rules. So looking at those associations within areas to figure out what's happening in that certain area. So again, looking at crime patterns, epidemic surveillance, understanding what's happening at that time in a certain area. So great things with given what's going on in the world today. These are amazing tools that we can use that are now included into SPSS. We also heard a lot about, you know, the competition. I'm going to put it as, you know, between Python and R and SPSS, and where should I be leveraging my time? Now, what we decided to do, just as an organization in general, was to adopt open source. There's no point fighting open source. It's far better to adopt it. So we released in 23, we released the capability to leverage R within SPSS Statistics as well. Now, since that, and we'll get that into future slides, but we also released Python into SPSS. So using these open source tools within the framework of something like an SPSS really accelerates what you could be doing with your data. We also added to it or improved the categorical principal component analysis. So lots of stuff to be able to look at it, you know, non-parametric bootstrapping, lots of stuff to be able to look at and understand what it is we want to do and understand the data even more. In version 27, we released extensions. So extensions was a way to, you know, leverage what's written in either SPSS syntax, in R, in Python, in Java. You're able to leverage these within the SPSS solution itself. So if you have at minimum 24, it works better in even the newer versions. There's actually a tab at the top now for SPSS extensions where you can just go in, look at it, find something that you might have been writing in syntax before or you've always wanted to try, like Benford's law breakdown, and be able to pull those into SPSS just to use with a click of a button now. So great ways to do it. And there are currently hundreds of extensions that are available on the extension store. You just go, you click on which ones you want, it downloads it into your SPSS, and you're ready to go. And as I mentioned, the extension hub was brought to that. So this is literally an example of what you can get. You can click through whether you're looking for things to do with analysis, data manipulation, geospatial, presentation ways of doing it, even connections into Watson if you wanted to do more with text analytics. Pull it in, be able to analyze the data and push it into your results. We also brought the custom dialog builder. So not everybody knows Python or R or SPSS syntax, but we've got a couple people in the organization maybe that are very good at it, and then we've got a couple people that are really good analysts. So now you can leverage their skills. They can build this custom extension for you and be able to input that into your SPSS. So it's really democratizing that work and letting those that are good at programming do their programming, and those that are good at the analysis do their analysis, and it gives you the option to do what you would like to do. We heard lots of things about importing and exporting from SPSS, so we improved the way you can import and export out of it to be able to, get that into an Excel file to do more with it. There's actually further enhancements in later versions, and I'll show you that as well as we get there. And then enhancements to custom tables. I don't know about everybody else. Custom tables is one of my favorite modules. Being able to put the data to look exactly the way I want it to look for a report and be able to get it out, and put it into the report and just go is a much easier way to do it. There's tons of new things that were added to it, significant test results into the main table, scores of new confidence intervals and standard error statistics to put in. But if you've never looked at custom tables, I suggest you look at it. And if you have custom tables and you're on an older version, this might be something you want to look at with the enhanced, all the enhancements that happen to custom tables. So going into 25, so just a summary first, but chart builder enhancements. So the way you can build reports, charts, the way they look, far more modern looking than it was before. Stronger copy and paste and Microsoft Office integration. So you can put them into, whether it's a Word, Excel, a PowerPoint, however you're presenting your data, much easier ways of getting it in there. There was new advanced statistics feature with the generalized linear mixed and models that were in there, the ANOVAs that were in there. There's far more things in the advanced statistics feature than there was before, as well as Bayesian statistics, which came very popular a little while ago. But there's one sample and pair sample t-test, binomial portion tests, ANOVA, log linear models, lots of things to add to that. And then there was syntax editor enhancements for power users. So the ability to have new shortcut keys to speed writing, column mode editing, one-click trim of leading and trailing and empty spaces when we're doing that data cleansing. Lots and lots of stuff in here that was added just in 25 itself. Now, the first I talked about, the ability to create modern-looking charts with Chart Builder and to do them more quickly. So there's a ton of new different types of charts that can be added. They look better, they're prettier, there's more things you can edit to make it look exactly the way you want to look as you get it out. Editing charts in Microsoft Office. So you can actually embed it now as a Microsoft Office graphics object, which means once it's into Excel or Word or PowerPoint, you can change the colors, the text, do all the templating that you might have already set up in your Microsoft Office, and to put it directly in. So it gives you a lot more flexibility around what it is, what you want it to look like, and getting it to your presentation level. Now you can also customize and change colors of charts faster now without leaving the chart builder interface. So everything can be done within the chart builder interface itself. So whether you want columns to be a certain color, I know in my previous role we had very, very specific colors and guidelines as to what everything had to be when we were reporting, and you can now do all that within Chart Builder, as well as at the end generate the syntax for all those Chart Builder controls. So It's there, it's yours, it's ready to go. Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Lee. Yeah, sorry. I think for a moment there, I think for a moment, like you just went silent. Yeah, we can hear you now.
My computer auto muted me. I think my kids have control over that. Anyway, so if we look at, let's just go back to here. So advanced statistics features. So lots of stuff that are in here, whether it's the mixed linear models, the generalized linear mixed models, lots of stuff for you to look at and plot within the advanced statistics features, as well as syntax editor improvements. So there's lots to do. We talked about the controls that can be added, as well as the shortcut keys that can be added to this screen now, as well as you're building your syntax editor improvements. So in version 26, so lots of new and advanced statistics that were added in here. So even things like quantile regressions were added to it in 26. I'm just gonna go to the next, there we go. ROC analysis with new and advanced statistics. So lots of great things to see there. I use an ROC curve, you know, probably more often than I should, but we use these a lot. But be able to pull those in your new and advanced statistics as well to understand what's happening with your results and what that lift could possibly be. As well as Bayesian statistics, like I mentioned before. So there was there's a bunch of Bayesian statistics that are done within here, but it gives you the ability to see what's happening and analyze your data even more. So in our most recent release, version 27, so there was a lot of things that were, some things were moved and a lot of things added as well. So new to the base edition now, so if you just have SPSS Statistics base, the data preparation module as well as the bootstrapping module are moved into the base version, which is fantastic and easy to use. There's new statistics. So as far as things like power analysis, Cohen's weighted kappa are available within here. And as well as statistical enhancements such as effect size, quantile regressions, and matrix commands within here as well as a bunch of just productivity, usability, and improvements that were made to the product. So just talking about base itself, so just the data preparation. So it's a great way to streamline data validation as well as eliminate those manual checks on data to see what's there. You can also use it to identify outliers quickly using anomaly detection. You can use optimal binning within there as well, and automatically prepare data. So a great way to correct quality errors in your data. You know, do you not have all the data? Do we have all the data? Depends what you want to do and how you want to look at it. Bootstrapping. If you've never used bootstrapping before, it really is just a great feature, and we've moved that now into base as well. And then power analysis. So power analysis, we used to call it something else, and the name escapes me now, and it disappeared for a while, and now it's come into back and we've called it power analysis.
I think it's it used to be called sample power.
Chris, yes, thank
power,
you,
yeah.
Nabil. So sample power, now called power analysis. But if you want us to do means, proportions, correlations, regression, all this is, you know, very useful in so many things for doing a survey. You know, can I define optimal sample size to yield statistically significant results? There's great features in here that is now available in the statistics base edition. Cohen's weighted kappa, again, you know, just different techniques that are available within SPSS and be able to go through and use it and understand and look at our data to understand even more. So lots of different techniques that are available in here to do this sort of thing. Oh yeah. Also, so this was actually a highly requested feature, which was added onto existing effect sizes. So this was an enhancement on here. So you could always kind of do an effect, but now you can estimate effect sizes within the data as well, which is huge. So this was added to one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, paired samples, and then the ANOVA as well. And this is available in the base edition as well. And then looking at just more procedure enhancements, so quantile regression and matrix, this was added in there as well. So you can see in 26, we had some features that you could go and look at, and in 27, we've changed that a little just to make it simpler to use and be able to understand what's happening with the data a little more. It gives you a little more flexibility as to how you want to run it. And then there's productivity improvements. So there's lots of things that we've always been able to do within SPSS, but now we're going to make it a little easier and better to run. So one of those would be just navigating faster. So find dialogues, procedures, find things within the help topics, find details on syntax commands. We've made these easier to do within 27 itself. Minimize data loss with auto recovery. Not sure how many people out there, I know I have done it more than I'd ever like to admit, but it's when you run SPSS, something goes wrong, the system crashes, your computer goes down, whatever that may be, and then you lose hours worth of work. So SPSS will now auto save and auto recover sessions. So think of when you're using Excel and something happens, the power goes out, I don't know, your battery dies on your computer, something happens and you lose stuff, but it does have an auto save and brings it back. That's now available within SPSS Statistics as well. There's new bubble charts within it. So if you want to look at you just bubble charts, you know, it extends the scatter plot functionality, but it gives you a lot of access to do stuff within Series 27 that just wasn't there before. There's also just improvements on the output. So we now have APA format support, high resolution output support, to be able to get in and look at stuff and get it the way you want to look at. So much stuff was added to these. It really is a fantastic feature to look at and do. Also in the usability improvements, Mac OS. So we have a lot of users that are using Mac, getting stuff done the way, you know, you use whatever system you want to use. But this gives you the ability to do more with it as well. If you're a Mac user, it's now native to Mac as well, which is a huge improvement to a lot of our users. Also changes to the welcome screen, very small, but you know, it gives you access to check your recent files, check what's new, which will always give you the updated information, and given a couple of different options on what you want your SPSS to look like. It now ships with the latest Python, so 3.8.2 as of version 27. It now has the Mac OS installer, And there was back-end updates as well, just for modernization, speed, all those great things that we can do with it. And to anybody using Amos, so Amos 27 now also supports that Bayesian modeling program as well. So there's lots of great stuff that have been added throughout the product and through all the pieces here. So now, as we've been through all that, let's talk about some of the licensing changes. And Nabil, can I pass it to you to go over some of the licensing here?
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to make sure that everybody can see my screen now.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Lee. Thanks so much for covering the different changes that happened from version 23 to version 27. As you know, as you all can see, you know, IBM is making huge investments in continuously enhancing the product, right? So from a licensing changes perspective, now in March of 2017, IBM released a new licensing model for SPSS known as SPSS Statistics Subscription. Now, SPSS Subscription essentially allows you to purchase SPSS on an as-needed basis or on as a pay-as-you-go basis, right? So a monthly payment option offers you the flexibility to leverage SPSS when needed. So you could purchase SPSS for 1 month, you could purchase SPSS for 3 months, you could purchase SPSS for any term that you would like, right? And this is great for customers that have short-term projects. Like if you have a project where you know you're going to be using SPSS for only the next like 3 or 6 months, you don't need to purchase a 12-month license, right? You can purchase just a 3 months or just a 6-month license as per your need. And if you know, once the 6 month is done, you don't have to pay anything after that. If you need it again, like, you know, in the next year, you can just buy it again for like, you know, the term that you require, right? The other thing is, if you purchase the base edition for 12 months, as an example, right? The base edition, which will offer you with the core descriptive statistics capabilities. And if you need to add one of the advanced add-ons, like custom tables and advanced statistics for 2 months, as an example, like if you just need those for a little project that you're working on, those advanced capabilities, so you can buy the base for 12 months, and you can just buy the custom tables and advanced statistics for 2 months, right, for that project. So you can use it for the time period that you need. And then once that 2 months is over, you can continue using the base edition. So there's a lot of flexibility there, right? The license model is also easily consumable by the end user. So SPSS Statistics Subscription, it simplifies the experience from everything from downloading the software to managing the license, as well as to updating the software, because you get automatic updates. So some considerations with this license model is that you don't need a license key, right, as it is the case for perpetual licenses. But you simply need to sign up for an IBM ID, which is usually your corporate email address, and that's used to authenticate you to use SPSS Subscription. So you will need internet access. You are allowed to use the software offline for 14 days, but after 14 days, you will need to enter your IBM ID to authenticate. It works both on Mac OS and Windows, and I think Lee mentioned that before. Statistics Subscription also only comes up as a desktop application, so there is no server component, which means that if you wish to scale up and leverage the computing power of a server, this model won't work, right? SPSS Subscription is also an authorized user license, or a named user license as we call it, and it does not offer a concurrent option. So if you have a team of 5 people who needs SPSS, you cannot buy one subscription for all of the 5 people to share. You have to buy individual subscription for each and every user, right? So you have to buy 5 subscriptions for each of the users. Finally, it has become a popular option for customers because of the flexibility that it offers. Now, here, what I'm showing is I'm showing a comparison between the commercial and the subscription editions. As you notice here, you will see that the base edition in the commercial edition, which obviously you're probably used to, like the perpetual license that you normally use to, or the traditional licensing as I call it, you will notice that the base edition is exactly the same as the base edition here, right? The standard edition, if you add the base and the custom tables and advanced statistics together, it will actually make up the standard edition. The only difference that you'll see is you'll notice that in the professional edition, there's forecasting that's included, but here in that additional component, there's no forecasting, right? So forecasting is in a different module, right? So that's just one of the key differences. The other difference that you'll notice is there's SPSS Amos, which allows you to do structured equation modeling, right? So SPSS Amos is available in the perpetual edition or in the term license edition, but it's not available in the subscription plan. But then again, SPSS Amos exists as a product on its own. So you don't even need to buy SPSS Statistics itself. You could buy SPSS Amos and it's a separate installation by itself. So if you need to buy the subscription model and then maybe you actually need the SPSS Amos, you could buy SPSS Amos separately as well. From a packaging perspective, SPSS Statistics consists of different modules. IBM has combined some of those modules into Edition. Previously, from version 26 and prior, you could purchase any combination of those modules. For example, you could buy the base, and you could buy the base, and then you could buy any of those different modules. Like you could buy decision trees as an example, right? However, with the new version of SPSS as of version 27, IBM is restricting the purchase of SPSS only to the editions. I think that might actually be a better screen for me to see that. So to show you that, so you'll notice here, so you'll see the base. There's obviously the base, the standard, the professional, and the premium, right? So before, you could buy any of those different modules by themselves. You could buy the base, you could buy categories, you could buy complex sampling. But now, as of version 27 and June of 2020, IBM is restricting the purchase to only the different modules. So it's the different editions. So you can buy the base edition, you can buy the standard edition, the professional, and the premium. However, because advanced statistics, regression, and custom tables are the most popular modules that are available in SPSS, IBM is allowing customers to buy, if you bought the base, you could add advanced statistics, you could add regression and custom tables. But if you need any of those additional ones, it's expected that you're going to buy the additional, the actual edition itself, right? Just to kind of explain that. And you'll also notice Amos, as I mentioned, you can actually buy Amos by itself. So that was what I explained, the a la carte flexibility. But the problem, the reason why IBM came up with this idea of, why are we restricting the purchase to only the different modules now, the different editions now, is because buying each of those modules separately, it kind of led to a lot of licensing complexity, right? So if you literally do the math, you will realize that all of those, maybe you buy base and advanced statistics, base and regression, base and custom tables, or base and any combination of those, it will come up to about 1,500 combinations, right? So that gets quite complex. And there's also limited consistency across the different plans. So what IBM did is they started changing it. And as I mentioned now, so you'll notice that the base edition as it's in itself now includes data preparation and bootstrapping, which previously you had to purchase separately. Right? So if you're a net new user of SPSS now, or you're an existing user and you decide to upgrade your base edition, you will actually get the data preparation and the bootstrapping feature, which is really interesting, right? Now, the other simplification that was brought to in version 27 is that moving forward, as I mentioned, obviously you can purchase only the editions, you can't purchase the individual modules. The only exception is, as I mentioned, if you purchase the base edition, you can purchase any modules like from the standard edition, which is the advanced statistics, regression, and custom tables, since these are the modules that are in highest demand. For all of the other modules, you'll have to purchase the edition that they fall under, or if you really need those modules under exceptional circumstances, you can reach out to us with some justification for the purchase and we can work it out for you, right? The renewal for these modules, however, will still be available. So this change will not impact existing customers that have editions and modules. The idea is really to simplify the packages. So just to highlight again, as I mentioned, you can buy the base and you can buy those free modules, or you can buy the different editions. Now, from a pricing perspective, there are no pricing changes with SPSS Statistics 27. The pricing model stays the same. You can now, though, upgrade from the base edition to the standard edition, or from the base edition to the professional edition, or from the base to the premium edition. And that was something that was not available before. So you don't have to buy additional modules. Like if you want to upgrade from the base to the standard, you don't have to buy the 3 modules that make up the standard. There is a one-part number which we can use, which we can upgrade you directly from the base to the standard, or the base to the premium, or the base to the professional, right? So there is a trade-off path, as we call it within the IBM world, right? Now, along with the subscription licensing, IBM also added a new license type recently. And this license type is called the committed term license. It's used for commercial editions. So the CTL, CTL licenses, in short for committed term licensing, offers a minimum contract term of 12 months, and you can also purchase it for 24 months, 36 months, or 48 months, right? Now, CTL is only available for the editions and not for Amos and not for the individual module. So you can buy a committed term license for 12 months, you can buy it for 24 months or 36 months, right? So that's for users that are actually looking for longer term period, but they don't really want to buy a perpetual license, right? They don't want to own the software forever. Maybe they've got a project that's, that lasts like 24 months or 36 months, and that's the only time that they're going to be using SPSS. So it makes more sense to buy the CTL license as opposed to buying a perpetual license, right? Or you could also consider a subscription license, but if the subscription license is usually good for a shorter period of time, right? Like for 1 month, 2 months, anything that's less than 12 months, we would recommend a subscription license. Anything that's more than 12 months, we recommend that you go with a committed term license. And then lastly, as of version 27, SPSS Statistics will only support 64-bit OS versions for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux, which means that there will be no downloads available for 32-bit versions, right? Also, physical media, like DVDs, will no longer be produced by IBM. Instead, ISO files will be supported and will still be available from Passport Advantage. So you can still download ISO files, and these can be burnt into a disk or used as a USB boot drive if you would like, right? There will be no physical media, so DVDs will no longer be sold. And with that, we've reached the end of today's webinar, and we can take any questions that are there. I'm just checking on the questions panel here, and I don't really see any questions. So I can kind of just continue. Like I just have like a couple of extra slides here. As an IBM business partner, we offer a series of courses for IBM SPSS Statistics in multiple formats, like instructor-led online, where you will have access to an instructor online, along with exercises and labs. We also offer self-paced virtual courses, where you could sign up for the course and complete them in your own time without an instructor for 30 days. The first course, as an example, it looks at the basics of SPSS Statistics, so the interface, transforming data, etc. Right? The second course is a refresher of Stats 101 using SPSS Statistics, where you will learn, for instance, how do you run a one-way ANOVA using SPSS Statistics. It will also be like a refresher. So if you forgot, what is an independent samples TDES, what is a one-way ANOVA, it will kind of teach you what these are. The last course is an advanced course where we focus on topics such as factor analysis, generalized linear model, survival analysis, Cox regressions, etc. Right? So when we share the slide deck with you, you will be able to click on those courses, and you will notice here there's actually links which will walk you through the different the course outline. Right? We also offer analytics bootcamps, which are half-day one-on-one sessions with one of our experts and your organization, where we help you learn various topics like APIs, data lakes, and machine learning, and tools for today's data environment. Now, these are very impactful sessions, right? Especially for your C-level execs and your senior leadership, where people want to understand, what is a data lake, right? What is an API? What is machine learning specifically, right? So these are the kind of things that we cover in those workshops, and these are half-day workshops. It's vendor agnostic. We don't use, it's really around the concept of a data lake, a concept of an API. So it's mostly like a technology agnostic session, right? And these are very, very useful sessions to have, and very impactful sessions. And lastly, during those challenging COVID-19 times, we are running an ongoing event called NewComp Office Hours, where you can book a complimentary 1-hour session with our experts and bring your data analytics use cases and your challenges for us to discuss and brainstorm, right? Our only requirement is, for this complimentary hour is that we expect at least, 4 or more people from your team to join for a 1-hour interval. All right. So with that, we've reached the end of the webinar. If there are any questions that I haven't been able to answer, we will address them, and we will be able to send you like a follow-up email to address those questions specifically. So with that, that's the end of the webinar, and thank you for everyone for joining.